I had that one viewer, and that viewer made me keep going. And each day and more. Week 2, I started averaging 4 viewers. Week 3, 8 viewers. Week 4, 20 viewers. So on and so on and so on. So I streamed every day. I didn't care about nothing else but
unpopular opinion. Life is not going to get any better. Life won't get any better. And it's purely because of you. Purely because you keep moving the goalpost. I saw a quote that came off as so true. That a vision or a plan or a goal is a contract you make with yourself to be unhappy until you achieve whatever it is that is. You know, and we are in the habit of setting and resetting goals, even for the most part after we've achieved them. You know, so you're going to have little, little, little bits of unhappiness scattered all over your life, and it adds up to a life full of unhappiness. Again, because you keep moving the goalpost. So you see, saying, don't set goals. You know, when you achieve a goal, don't set a new one. Maybe, maybe not. But the hack for people who are interested in the completeness of life and maybe and or happiness, the hack will now be the process that's supposed to take you to a goal. Enjoy it. Now, if you set goals that have nothing to do with what your purpose or your calling should be, somebody say purpose, calling, those are all vague, loosely used words. Your calling, your purpose has a lot to do with, has something to do with the things you like to do. your hobbies, the things you do with ease that other people do difficult, those types of things. So when you're working in that space, if you're working in that space and you're setting goals, when you're done setting those goals, goals guide you, goals give you something to go towards, but goals have under it, just under it, that dissatisfaction that makes it a goal, that takes you to the end of it. So if you all the dissatisfactions scattered over your life, they may create unhappiness and a perpetual chase if you don't have pay attention to what's actually happening. So the way to cancel out the effect of the dissatisfaction, even though it's part of what's there, is to romanticize the process. That's a simple word for it. What that means is being in romance with the process. What that means is after we're done setting goals, writing things on the vision board, we should now zone into what it is we have to do and stay in it. You know, you already have a roadmap, you already have a compass, you already have something to guide you. It's now safe to be in the now every time and thoroughly enjoy what's happening now. So on this board, it's 45 sets of push-ups set up as a countdown to 1,000 and something push-ups. If I follow the instructions here, I'll get to 1,000 plus push-ups. So now that I have a guide, I'm not chasing this number all the way down. I'm enjoying each set fully. And when I'm done, I'll have achieved 1,000 plus push-ups. But also the completeness and the happiness that comes with all the things that happened in the moments while I was doing what I was doing. That's the reason why it looks like life. Your life has been full of happiness. If you're able to make the distinction in your brain, you'll be able to tell what's going on. You have signed contracts, you're happy with yourself by setting goals. You know, and that's cursing your life like that is beautiful. But paying attention to what's going on is also important. So you can get the best out of it. 100% of women, okay, 99% of women have midsections sticking out. And again, when a statement like this is made, everybody thinks towards that's the one that carries the baby. Women carry babies. Women have wombs. So one would think that ordinarily a woman will prepare for the stretch that happens in pregnancy. But a good number of women don't do that. And there's some confusion and misconception about what to do with the midsection. And there are all kinds of teachings, all kinds of suggestions, all kinds of opinions. But listen to this. There's a muscle here, a flat muscle, called the rectus muscle. It's like a sheet of muscle, two of them like that. I join together. Think of that, women. When you do sit-ups or crunches, what you do is you're walking. If you hold the if you touch it when you're doing your push-ups or sit-ups or crunches, muscle is hard, you know, because muscle is the one flexing, you know. So there could be fats on top of it. There could be fats behind it, wherever it wants to be. But what sit-ups and crunches will do for you is to give you the muscle. When you keep flexing the muscle like this, flexing the muscle like this, whether in terms of form of lifting weight, whatever. When you let your arm relax, the muscle you have been flexing will still be looking flexed. That's how people have broader chests, broader arms from pushing weights and working out. You know, so the same thing happens when you keep flexing this muscle. When you keep flexing this muscle, the muscle looks like it stays like that. You know. So if you do this activity, you're not aiming to remove the fat that is here. That's usually what happens. People do a bit of it and go to the mirror, and then do a bit of it and go to the mirror, and then they give up. They say the thing's not going, you know, and they give up. What you're doing actually is, in the moment you're doing those crunches, you're actually doing this. You're flexing the muscle there. So if you keep doing it, the muscle will become like this inside. Of course, there's fat. There could be fat in front, at the back. So it still looks like you have this tension. See the difference. When that muscle has to, when it's not flat, the toning of the muscle pulls your abdomen in unconsciously. That's the hack now. So if you look at me as I'm talking, my midsection is tightening by itself without me knowing. But if this muscle is not active, I'll talk with my stomach, just like it will move, because the muscle can't move. It has not been moved consciously enough. That's how sit-ups create flat tummy. So it doesn't create it by burning the fat in your tummy. No, it does not do that. How it does it is it gives the muscle tone. So it's the muscle tone that now starts acting even without your notice. So the only time the muscle relaxes when you're sleeping. You see. So when you're doing sit-ups, crunches, in the moment you're doing it, you're benefiting a lot from what you're doing, because this is what you're doing to the muscle. You know, so don't go to the mirror after that and hope that you see something. But while you're living your life, you're speaking, you're walking, this muscle helps support the trunk. That's why it helps you stand up when you lay down on your back. Then you stand up when you lay down on your back. So as a child, while you are learning to walk, you either fall forward or you fall backwards. And apart from the coordination of movements, it's a group of muscles that are supposed to be consciously controlled to help you stand and walk. Your brain had not developed enough to coordinate those muscles. One of them is this one. There are a couple of other ones. You know, so this muscle even helps you keep an erect position. So when the muscle has to from continuously flexing it, what it does is it gets to work without your permission. And by effect, it creates a flat midsection. without you even knowing. A lot of us speak a lot about the good old days, and we speak it from hell. We miss those days, and you hardly miss something that you had enough of. So while we were in the good old days, while we were there in those moments, we were thinking about the other good days. And then those good old days we are talking about now, past. So thinking about it in hindsight and comparatively to now, miss those days because you are not in those days. Even though you are physically present in those days you are talking about, you were dreaming or thinking either about this behind that or a future you had in your mind. So you missed out completely in the now. So by the time we got to where we are right now, we are now lusting after those days. Because we're comparing now, seeing that feel better than now. So continue doing this. That's the reason why life will not get any better. There's two groups of people in the world: people who set goals for success, people who have visions and dreams. There's another group, people who just wake up and leave. Life will not get better for either of them. But the person who is setting goals, goal setting is written or mental contract a person keeps with themselves to be unhappy until they get what they said they will get. And those little pseudo unhappiness, or it looks like conjured or fake unhappiness over time, because you keep moving the goalpost. You're chasing a dream and then you get the dream, and you don't have up to 30 minutes or 24 hours or 72 hours to savor what you've achieved. You set a new one, then you set a new one, and then you set a new one. So all those micro happiness scattered all over adds up over time and can come together and feel like true happiness, especially if you're not paying attention to what's actually going on. What I'm talking about right now. So this is the reason why it looks like it is an infinite chase. But the ones who are doing it, we're trying to score, and then once we score, we'll move the post, and then we'll try to score again, and we'll move the post. And it makes us better, but we're not aware we are getting better. So if somebody is having to work out, you're pushing weights in the gym, for example, and then you're having to move 10 kg of weight, after a while your muscle grows to now find it easy to move 10 kg. Guess what happens next? Everybody says move to 15 kg. At the moment you add that weight, the muscle starts struggling again. So the struggle to overcome 15 kg in and of itself, just under it, doesn't feel very good when you're doing it. And then you overcome 15 kg because you have become stronger. And you can deal with that. Guess what you do next? You go to 20 kg and put yourself back in that state of struggle. So you can see that life has not become better for those muscles. But when you look at what you have gained from pushing those weights and incrementally increasing the resistance, you have gained muscle. You are all improved. But the feeling of happiness probably did not show up because each time you have to overcome weight, there is an uncomfortableness and a struggle. So this is what has created what I just said. And this is what has created what you have always felt. As if you're looking for, searching for happiness and it's never coming. The reason is because you're chasing life as you should, but you're not paying attention to what's going on. So now that you know what's actually going on, how do you actually find happiness while this is going on? The other group that just wakes up and lives life, goes to bed, wakes up and lives life. It's a dangerous place to be because you're going to be suffering the irresponsibility for that. The responsibility or irresponsibility. Your life has no you don't have control over your life. You hope that the next man was responsible and that you don't suffer any repercussion. So you really can see how this person's life will get increasingly worse, as they go forward because of the uncertainty they've subjected themselves into. All of us are subjected to uncertainty to a level, but for certain people it's just, you know. So how do you live happily now and ever after? Is by enjoying the process. So that's why it's very important to put yourself inside things that you have some strength, some talent, some gift in, so that you're almost sure that you're your purpose or your calling. So if you have gifts for playing football, for example, to go from 0 minutes to 2 hours, the work in it will make it a bit uncomfortable. Now, to do 0 to 2 hours against resistance of other footballers who are also trying to, so you're now compete, it increases difficulty. Then the reality of the fact that the person you're competing against may be slightly better than you because it does certain things better, because the team is better, better understand themselves, and then they win the game, also increases the difficulty. See what I'm saying now? But again, the person who is playing the football, who has talent to play football, can now apply the principles we're laying down and enjoy difficulty without even knowing it. And how it's done is you just exist in this moment. And guess how many of these moments are in life? That's all that life is about. There's no tomorrow. There's no yesterday. The only thing you have every single time is now. And then now moves. You have another now. And then it moves. So as nows are moving, they become yesterdays. And every other thing you're talking about as tomorrow is all there. You never get always in now. So we are supposed to be in the now. So if you let yourself be in the now, the ones that are fast, the ones that are coming, you know, you're here. You're enjoying, thoroughly enjoying what's going on here. You're here. You're dealing with what's going on right now. When you learn to practice this and do this exercise, you already are on a team. You already have 2 hours to guide you to know when to stop playing. For example, you already set the goals. You're already going towards what you should go towards. The difference is that mentally you're savoring this moment. That is the key and secret to happiness. While chasing what you're chasing. So if you're going to set goals around things that you have no strength, even though you're in this moment, you will be going through torture because there's even no point of enjoyment. But if you pay attention enough to yourself and play to your strengths, it allows you to enjoy because those things are your strengths. Those things are things you already like to. You already like to play football, so you're enjoying what you already like to enjoy. You know, while you participate in this bigger thing. This is the key. This is the recipe to happiness. If you're not skilled enough to read people's intentions from their words, and you're looking to copy something they did, you want to learn something that you think they know in an attempt to better what you're doing, or in an attempt to reproduce what they have, don't bother about listening to them. Look for everything they are doing. So, for example, you're looking for principles of success in life, principles of financial prosperity, principles of how to make money, all this type of stuff. And you know somebody who is good, or who has done it, or who you feel has done it, and the person attempts to teach. Just look for the things he did or does. That's where the principle is. So if the person comes online to teach you how to make money, go and open your own online. Go and open your own page and start teaching people how to make money. I don't know how this is some of the best ways to say so you can understand it. It means that that thing that person is teaching is part of the reason why he's making money. So it is the actions the person took that give them the results that they have, not the things they are even saying. So there are people who have the gifts to teach. There are people who have the capacity to communicate what they know to somebody else. But not this gift alone is not really enough. There's an extra thing called self-awareness where somebody understands what created the result that they have. So they understand it first and then they can communicate it. Two things. So you might have a teacher who doesn't even understand what's going on. So they are doing things, they have systems they built. They don't even understand that it's the system that they built that's created the success. And then they come to try to teach you something and they're telling you all kinds of throwing words at you. Sometimes you're caught in moments where you're speaking, you lose your train of thought, you just start saying things to feel occupy the space, and somebody's on the other end really savoring that thing, trying to get. And then it looks like you're not, the person's not telling you something. Stop waiting for people to tell you things. If you want to mirror what they're doing, if you want to prototype, photocopy, whatever, go and start looking at their actions. If you don't have access to their actions, at least you saw them teaching, start teaching for anything at all. You know. Now there's another group of people who can smell you from while you're speaking. They can tell if you're genuine or not. They can tell when you start saying nonsense. They can tell you're in that group. You know that time tested. You have the capacity because you've honed that skill. You've sharpened that skill. You can tell when somebody's just bullshit. Somebody's just trying to make money from people. Then you can now, you're the group that can listen. Because you can hear beyond their words. It takes skill to do that one. So again, everybody benefits from the first thing I said. Look for action points if you can. Forget about what the person is even talking about. It's not important. For example, the talking they are doing, that's part of how they made money. So if you're looking to copy something, copy that one. Copy the fact that they are trying to teach. That teaching they are doing, the content they are creating is part of the cash cows the person has. If it's money you're looking for, that they know they've made. Do you understand? So look for actions. Look at the person's routine. If it's someone that's posting, how often are they posting? When are they posting? Try to look from outside in as much as you can. You know, again, somebody can feel people have skill, they thwart it, they're human beings to use it for their own selfish interest. Somebody can take money from you, somebody can scam you, somebody can, and then you're vulnerable because they are successful, you trust them, they now. So if you want to avoid those type of things, you're looking at successful people, look for, do the things they did. Is the doing that give them success, not the talking that they're doing. So trying to get the same thing they have by listening to their words, you may completely go into the bush. Okay. I think we lost the picture again. I think we lost the picture. I think we lost the picture. Alright. So if you are doing push-ups, tidy up. I don't know what your countdown is currently. If you followed us for a while, you know we'll count down to 1,000 plus push-ups. I don't know where you've improved yours to. You started from 10, where are you now? You started from 5, where are you now? If you're a woman, what have you been doing with seeing us? What have you been doing with seeing us? All the times you've been seeing the account and it all been doing. What has been your reaction to that? What have you done with it? Everything you see is a sensory information. What did you do with the information? When you saw somebody doing push-ups, what did you remind you of? Did it make you start doing the things you said you would do at the beginning of the year? If yes, that's beautiful. So this is a reminder for whenever you see this to do the most difficult task of the day, which is your workout. Getting yourself to do it and doing it and completing it. You said you would do it. You started it and then you finished it. Every other thing that you get today will be nothing close to this first big task you're able to overcome at the beginning of the day. So since we can't get the visual component of what we're doing because of the network, the reception, we would end the live here and tidy up with the push-ups. But be accountable and finish up. You benefit from it health-wise. You benefit from it in your confidence. Confidence comes from saying what you said you would do. When you said you would do it, you said it to yourself. Before you even said it to anybody, you heard yourself say it for the first time. And if you keep breaking the promises you made yourself, every time you lie to yourself again that you do something, that person inside you will tell you you cannot do it. And that's what breeds self-doubt, anti-confidence, and all those things are the opposite of confidence. So if you say you do something, finish it. If you say you do something, do it. Don't say you do. And because nobody's looking, you don't. It adds up, and it will affect you in the long run. So please get your workouts in, your push-ups, your burpees, your mountain climbers. Move some weights around. Do the sit-ups. I've taught us how to benefit from sit-ups to get flat stomach for females, male alike. So please, let's use these things we've attempted to teach. And then we were doing push-ups as well here before we lost network. So we've shown you also, but beyond talking about it, we've shown you. So let us also see what we can do with that pictorial inspiration. See you guys in the next live tomorrow.